Welcome to Doors to Hope and Healing, an inside look at foster care and adoption needs in Connecticut. My name is Jacqueline Ford. I have had the honor of working for the department for close to 30 years, and although I may be familiar with many of the topics I bring to you, I have invited experts in those fields to help dispel the myths and misconceptions that often act as barriers. Join us as we open our doors to an inside look at the Department of Children and Family. Lori and Jay, thank you so much for being on Doors to Hope and Healing. It's a pleasure to have you here. As you know, November is Adoption Awareness Month, so it's an opportunity for us to celebrate you adding to your family, as well as to acknowledge all the people in Connecticut who have adopted and celebrate, what they have done for a child in our care. So for our viewers that are watching today, we're going to take them through the journey of your life and how you came to DCF and how we came to know you. So let's just start with how your love story began. So tell me when you decided to come to DCF and pursue adoption.
Well, first we got married. That's probably the most important thing. And then after we got married, we tried to have children. And then we were having a very difficult time having kids. We went through 4 rounds of IVF.
Wow.
So the last round was kind of like it was the last straw. So it was like we wanted a child one way or the other. If IVF worked, we have a kiddo. If it didn't work, either way, we're going to go through the program because we want to expand our family. So this is what we did.
Yeah, we actually got licensed prior to the failure of IVF, and then so when that didn't work, we were already kind of on this path.
Right.
If it didn't work, and then then we got the call when it was time.
So stepping back a little bit, so you went through the licensing process, so you went through the training, and then after you finished the training, there was a home study that was written about you. Tell us what kind of information goes into a home study for anybody who may be watching.
A lot of information.
It's a lot.
Yes. You have, everything from the type of home you live in and your background and your family background.
Life, what your relationships with your other family members, if you have brothers or sisters, your father, your mother, fire alarms, where they are, monitors for the babies, stuff like that. But they go through the entire house.
It's a lot of exploration of yourself, right? And your childhood and your upbringing.
That's true, yeah. They ask questions about, how were you, disciplined or what type of love did you get shown as you were, when you were growing up as a child? And did you have close relationships with your siblings and or parents and what that looked like and how that impacts your current feelings and ideas towards those things.
And it also talks about your values and your beliefs and your hobbies, so that this home study reflects really who the two of you are and what best match we can make with a child who's coming into the program who needs that forever family.
Yes.
So when you did your home study, did you indicate an age range of a child that you would be comfortable caring for?
Yeah, we really wanted like a baby. We like as young as you could possibly get it because we wanted we wanted the entire experience. We didn't know how this was going to go. This is obviously new for us, so we wanted to be as close to a baby as possible we could get.
Yeah, I think we said 0 to 2 was our ideal range. Yeah.
And what about culture? You were open to other cultures?
We were open. Yeah, we were open to everything. We were also open to exposure to drugs and things like that. Should that be
medically complex?
Yeah, medically complex children. We were kind of. We were pretty flexible given, my medical background and, just the fact that we wanted a child. So we, and
And it opened doors for you. So the more open you are to considering
Correct.
medical complexity in a
Right.
different culture or any kind of drug exposure, the more open you are to considering that, the more opportunities of a child who may need you, obviously, are
Right.
happening.
Yes.
So I know that you and I have had an opportunity to talk before the show because I'm privileged to write a human interest story on your family and this story. And you mentioned that you had gotten a telephone call and that there was a child that you were matched with. So tell us about that process.
That was intense. It happens really fast. So we got a call, we got an email or a call, kind of explaining a little bit about him. His pretty brief background about his birth and his story and his current status at the time and his injury and things like that. And then, we had an opportunity to kind of talk about it with each other, and we thought about it, and then we said, okay, let's go for it. So it happened, and I think that was like on a Wednesday or Thursday, and then by Thursday afternoon we were having a meeting with his social worker and her supervisor, and then our support worker, and we met him on Saturday and we brought him home on Monday.
That's fast.
Yeah,
So that's a disclosure meeting. So you learned all about him to make sure that what you learned about him is something that the two of you felt that you could care for him, given his medical complexity.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know that on the weekend before Elias was actually placed into your home, and that Monday, prior to that, you had reached out to a woman named Jennifer, who together with her husband Ross, they had provided emergency foster care to
Yes.
Elias.
Yep.
And then after a few words, you said it led to this long, hour-long conversation, and a friendship developed between all of you.
Yes.
So I had an opportunity to talk to Jennifer, and I'd like to share with you what she said. She said, "There is no better gift than to stay a part of Elias's life and to be friends with Lori and Jay. But I believe that it would be much better if they told you in person that how they feel about the whole process." So I believe that they may be here in the building.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness! Yes, surprise!
Are you surprised?
Oh, good thing I got that.
We're going to take a short break right now, and we will be back. And we invite you to watch a video on information about being an adoptive parent. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back.
Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
Thank you. We're back on Doors to Hope and Healing, and we have two new guests with us right now. We have Jennifer and Ross, and we had a surprise. We surprised the two of you by inviting Jennifer and Ross on. And why it's so important, and what I want our viewers to know, is that you two stepped up to be emergency foster care parents, a placement for Elias. Can you tell us what made you step up and what that experience was like?
Sudden. I'm a pediatric occupational therapist, and I saw a baby who was suddenly in need, and I understood the medical care that he needed, and I was concerned. He had surgery, and he was recovering from that, and the early days and weeks after neurological surgery, every day counts. And so every day that he wasn't getting his therapy, doing his exercises, being stretched, was a window for recovery closing. And I wasn't even sure, we weren't in the system, we weren't, we hadn't done all the classes and jumped through all the hoops. And so I wasn't even sure that we would be an option, but I just felt moved to do something for this really special little baby. He has, even as a tiny baby, just such an amazing personality. And I kind of said to Ross, I'm not even sure they'll take us up on it. DCF will probably find somebody else, but maybe could we offer? And 48 hours later, we had a baby.
Oh my goodness. So you were his occupational therapist. So
I
in a
was his
medical
OT.
role, you were providing OT to him, and you saw that he was regressing and he wasn't, healing or wasn't getting the attention that you felt that he deserved.
Yep.
And you made a report to DCF.
Yes, and his social worker was, it was really a team effort. And it was a conversation between me, his social worker, her supervisor, as I started to see that I didn't think where he was giving him everything that he needed. And then the social worker came to one of his appointments and observed the appointment and saw what I was seeing firsthand. And then everything happened really fast.
Okay.
So, and we were all just didn't want to see him go another day without proper care, getting his exercises and his stretches every day. And I already knew how to do them because I was his OT and I was treating him as a patient. And so that's how we stepped forward.
So when you became licensed, for our viewers that are watching, we call that kinship care, and that's because you had a relationship with him as his medical provider, providing that OT. You knew him and he knew you.
Yes.
So that's why we were able to place him. And then, of course, because of your medical training, you qualified to be a medically complex foster parent. So, thank you so much for stepping up and coming forward to be a resource for him and to give him that start. And then I believe that all the puzzle pieces from that point fell together. So you're caring for him. Now you get a call that this little boy is in need of a forever home, and you initiate this conversation with Jennifer. So, what do you feel about, I know that, and I did share your quote, and I think that you were able to watch that in the green room. This is really a blessing for a little boy, but also for both of you as couples to find this forever friendship that you have developed. And you're crying and you're crying. You make me cry.
Well, I'll say this: we came to a realization that we were not the right people, and we were not in a position to be his forever home, and that was really difficult because. As we came to that realization, we didn't know where he would be going next. We were an emergency placement for him. And, for us, I had a relationship with him as his OT, and then as Ross got to know him and fall in love with him, the fear was that he would not find the right home in the right place. And then the first time we met Lori and Jay, and the fact that she's an OT, it just felt meant to be. And I could go to sleep at night knowing that he's safe and he's okay, and he's with the people he's meant to be with. And our role was to help him get home. Our role is not to keep him forever. Our role was to help him get to them. But I get to go to sleep every night knowing that he is safe and cared for and loved, and I don't have to wonder, and that's the greatest gift in the world.
And that you're still able to have a relationship with him and to be a part of his life, which is the absolute best thing for him. I mean, this is wonderful for all of you, but how beautiful for him to have these lifelong family ties and connections to the two of you who fostered him temporarily. And you talk about this being a match made in heaven, and it really does, feel like that it is. And you provide respite care, I understand?
Yes. For us, it's just like
babysitting.
A fun weekend getting to see Elias.
Yes.
Which allowed Jay and Lori to celebrate their anniversary and have a romantic weekend. And we got to spend some time with Elias, which it's just bonus. We didn't do this thinking we would get to stay in his life, because it's about him, not about our needs or what we want. The fact that we get to continue to do that because of their generosity, that's icing on the cake.
And we know that he is safe, and we never have any concerns at all, because we know that they love him like we do.
Yeah, and you can't always say that, you know, with connections that we make. So before we close today, can you talk a little bit about Elias being your why, that you had been questioned many times, or you've questioned many times, the two of you, as to why you couldn't have children of your own. Can you share a little bit about that with our viewers?
So while we were going through our years of infertility and multiple IVF treatments and things like that, every time it didn't work, I would be crying and he would be crying, and we'd be like, why us? Why can't we have our own children?
We both come from like large families.
Yeah.
Who's 7, I've got 4.
Yeah.
Last time we were 4 in ours, so
we just wanted a family, and we just never could understand why, and and you're going through the process, you wonder, why can't it work out for us? Why can't we just get what we want? And then when we got Elias, he's our why. He's the reason, because I think had we had our own biological children, we probably wouldn't have gone this road, down this road. And so he is our why, and he's completed our family.
Well,
He was out there waiting for you this whole time. It just took you guys a little extra time to find each other.
Yeah, our steps are numbered, and you both have found your way, and I'm so grateful for all of you, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share with our viewers what the process is like, and how we can help you complete a family while you're giving that gift of a forever home to a child who, our goal is always to keep children home with their birth families whenever it's safely possible to do so. But there are occasions when that's not possible, and we need more people to step up to be that resource in waiting in case there is a child that may need them. But before we close today, I would like to share some exciting news. With the help of Jill Berry, who is your Glastonbury State Representative, John Cavanna, a Hartford City police officer and owner of Cavanna Farms in Glastonbury, yes. They'd like to offer you a private Polar Express experience on the Gray Granite Railroad this holiday season with sugar cookies and Santa Claus. And we thank John and Jill for the outpouring of just kindness. It really, people like Representative Jill and John restore our faith in humankind. So, you can all decide on what day is going to work best for you. It's going to be a Wednesday or Thursday night. It's private. It's all for you and your family. You can have as many people as you'd like.
Oh my goodness.
This is great.
Yeah. So that's something to look forward to.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
He's gonna love it.
So thank you all for being on the show. It's been my privilege to have you here. For anybody watching, if you're interested in being a foster or adoptive parent, please call 1-888-KID-HERO for more information. Thank you for watching.
The water's warm at Jaws Pond, and we're stocked full of treasures. Big or small, we buy it all. We buy and sell fast rides, power tools, vintage guitars, and so much more. Walk the plank in style with our fine jewelry, diamonds, and watches. Plus, we have a huge selection of the latest video games, including the new PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Jaws Pond, conveniently located on Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington and West Main Street in New Britain.